This is Jasper, an unusual Sphinx cat who became known online after losing both of his eyes because of severe corneal ulcers. Jasper first had his right eye surgically removed after it became badly damaged, and 5 years later, the same condition caused him to lose the other eye as well. Despite being both hairless and eyeless, Jasper adapted surprisingly well and eventually gained attention online for his unique appearance, resilience, and calm personality. This is a veterinarian attaching small caster wheels to a tortoise's shell to help restore mobility caused by hind leg problems. Similar wheel supports are commonly used in veterinary rescues and sanctuaries, allowing injured tortoises and turtles to move more freely again. This is what people commonly call sleep marks, the temporary lines or imprints left on your skin after resting against a pillow, blanket, or bedding for a long period of time. They happen when pressure from fabric gently compresses the skin while you remain in the same sleeping position, especially during deeper stages of sleep when the body naturally moves less. Because blood flow becomes slightly restricted in those compressed areas, the skin temporarily keeps the shape of the folds or creases pressed against it. Once you wake up and begin moving again, normal circulation gradually returns and the marks slowly fade away. Sleep marks are usually harmless and more noticeable on softer skin or after longer periods of uninterrupted sleep. This is a phenomenon sometimes called Mondrianish roots or square roots, where tree roots adapt to growing beneath concrete pavement. When trees do not have enough open soil or space to expand normally, their roots struggle to break directly through hard surfaces in search of water and nutrients. Instead of forcing their way upward immediately, the roots often begin following the lines, gaps, and geometric patterns between paving stones or concrete sections. Over time, this creates strange and beautiful patterns that almost look intentionally designed beneath the pavement. The roots naturally trace the easiest available paths, forming grid-like shapes and sharp angles rarely seen in normal root systems. The result resembles abstract artwork, created entirely by nature and survival instincts. This is a simple trick for putting a drawstring back into shorts after it slips out. By attaching the string to a pen and guiding the pen through the waistband channel, the drawstring can quickly slide back into place without frustration or complicated threading by hand. This is a modern floor drainage system designed for smooth and efficient water flow. Careful leveling and precise outlet placement help prevent standing water and blockages, showing how accurate engineering and proper installation techniques improve drainage performance in modern construction projects. This is Veronica Duque, a primary school teacher from Spain who became widely known after wearing a full anatomical bodysuit during a science lesson. Teaching children around 8 to 9 years old, she used the suit to help students better understand the human body by showing organs, muscles, and body systems at real body scale, instead of relying only on textbook illustrations. Her goal was to make anatomy more visual, memorable, and easier for children to grasp. By physically showing where organs are located and how the body systems connect together, the lesson became far more interactive and engaging. Many people online praise the creative teaching method, saying it demonstrated how imaginative approaches can make education more effective and exciting for young students. This is baby Ronan, a newborn who gained attention online after being photographed with a lucky fin, a limb difference called symbrachydactyly that occurs in roughly 1 out of every 30,000 to 40,000 births. During pregnancy, his mother Claire learned that his right hand would develop differently, but medical tests confirmed he was otherwise healthy. Claire later shared that she and her husband completely fell in love with how unique their son is and are excited to watch him grow, adapt, and experience the world with his special, lucky fin. This is the keyboard monument created by artist Anatoly Vyatkin in 2005 in Yekaterinburg. The unusual public artwork is designed as a massive outdoor computer keyboard built directly into the landscape using large concrete keys. Each key was carefully shaped and positioned to resemble a real keyboard layout, transforming an ordinary piece of technology into an interactive urban sculpture. the monument quickly became one of the city's most recognizable modern landmarks because of its playful and unexpected design. Visitors often walk across the giant quays, sit on them, or take photographs pretending to type messages on the oversized keyboard. The artwork blends technology, humor, and public space together in a way that feels both nostalgic and futuristic at the same time. Many people see the monument as a symbol of the digital age and the growing role computers and communication technology play in modern life. Its simple but creative concept turned a familiar everyday object into something monumental and strangely fascinating. Outdoor workers spend long hours under direct sunlight and often receive far more UV exposure than most people. In this clip, a worker uses a simple but practical solution by covering his head and neck with a t-shirt to block harsh sunlight. Even basic fabric protection can help reduce skin damage, overheating, and long-term risks caused by constant sun exposure during outdoor work. Random candid photos of Jay-Z biking, jogging, or simply moving around have repeatedly gone viral online because many people find the images unintentionally funny. Over the years, these paparazzi shots have been reposted across social media whenever conversations about classic celebrity memes resurface. Part of what makes the photos so memorable is the contrast between the images and Jay-Z's usual public persona. In music, business, and interviews, he is typically seen as calm, polished, serious, and highly controlled. Seeing awkward or exaggerated snapshots of him mid-motion creates an unexpected and humorous difference that people instantly recognize. Without trying to become a meme at all, ordinary paparazzi pictures of Jay-Z doing everyday activities slowly evolved into their own strange category of internet humor and celebrity culture online. This is the Veiled Virgin, Vergine Velata, an extraordinary marble sculpture created by Giovanni Strazza during the 1850s. The artwork portrays the Virgin Mary with her face covered by a thin translucent veil, yet the entire sculpture was carved from a single solid block of marble. At first glance, many people struggle to believe the veil is actually stone because it appears incredibly soft, delicate, and almost transparent. What makes the sculpture so remarkable is the illusion created through carving. Despite the heavy and rigid nature of marble, Strazza managed to make the fabric seem light enough to gently rest against the face beneath it. The viewer can still clearly see the shape of Mary's eyes, nose, lips, and facial contours through the veil, creating an effect that feels almost impossible for stone sculpture. Achieving this level of realism required extraordinary technical precision and patience. Sculptors had to carefully remove layers of marble without damaging the fragile details needed to preserve the illusion of thin fabric. Even small mistakes could ruin the entire work. Today, the Veiled Virgin continues fascinating artists, historians, and visitors because it transforms cold stone into something that appears soft, emotional, and almost alive. The sculpture remains one of the most impressive examples of illusion and craftsmanship in 19th century marble art. A creative artist transforms temporary flower shadows into colorful botanical artwork by tracing the silhouettes of blooming lilacs and cherry blossoms onto paper. Using vibrant matching inks, the artist captures fleeting moments of sunlight and turns delicate natural shapes into permanent illustrations, inspired directly by spring light and nature. A heartwarming moment shows a father surprising his young daughter by arranging tulips through the car's sunroof. As colorful petals softly fall inside the vehicle, the child immediately bursts into laughter and amazement, turning the simple surprise into a magical memory filled with joy. This is Laura Misi, who made international headlines in 2017 after hosting a wedding ceremony in Italy where she symbolically married herself, a practice often referred to as sologamy. The event included many traditional wedding details such as a white dress, a wedding cake, and around 70 invited guests celebrating alongside her. Misi decided to organize the ceremony following the end of a long-term relationship. describing it as a personal milestone focused on self-commitment and independence. Her unusual wedding quickly attracted global attention because it challenged traditional ideas about relationships, marriage, and personal fulfillment, becoming one of the most widely discussed examples of alternative modern relationship perspectives. This is Rudvan Cherlik, a man who became an unexpected symbol of courage and hope during the devastating 2020 earthquake in Izmir. After the powerful 7.0 earthquake struck the region, buildings collapsed across the city, trapping many people beneath concrete and twisted debris. Rescue teams worked desperately to search for survivors, often facing extremely dangerous and cramped conditions inside unstable rubble. During the crisis, Cherlik used his dwarfism in a remarkable and life-saving way. Because of his smaller size, he was able to crawl into tight spaces that larger rescuers physically could not safely enter. While many people would have stayed away from the dangerous environment, Cherlik immediately volunteered to help search for survivors trapped beneath the wreckage. He later explained that memories of the deadly 1999 earthquake in Turkey strongly influenced his decision to help. Thinking about families desperately waiting for loved ones beneath the rubble, he said he imagined himself or his own relatives trapped there and felt he could not remain inactive. Despite the risks of collapsing debris and unstable structures, he entered narrow spaces to assist rescuers during the emergency response. The earthquake ultimately claimed at least 117 lives in Turkey and injured many more people. Amid the tragedy, stories about Cherlik quickly spread across the country because people were deeply moved by his bravery and determination. Many viewed him as proof that courage and usefulness are not defined by physical appearance or limitations. What made his actions especially powerful was how he transformed something often seen by society as a disadvantage into an ability that genuinely helped save lives. His story became a reminder that during disasters, compassion, empathy, and willingness to help others can matter just as much as physical strength or professional training. This is Eggsplosion, a striking photographic series created by Arkadiusz Szwed, exploring the dramatic transformation of eggs under heat and pressure. The project captures the exact moments when eggs crack, rupture, and explode, revealing surprisingly intricate patterns hidden within the fragile shells. Instead of treating the process as simple destruction, Szwed approaches it as a material study focused on form, structure, movement, and spatial composition. As the eggs fracture, the shells split into delicate layers and sharp geometric openings that appear almost architectural. Some cracks resemble flower petals unfolding outward, while others create jagged patterns that look more like sculptures than food. The photographs freeze these brief moments with remarkable clarity, transforming an everyday object into something visually strange, fragile, and unexpectedly elegant. Part of what makes the series fascinating is the tension between violence and delicacy. The eggshells are breaking apart under intense heat, yet the resulting forms appear lightweight and carefully designed. The project reveals how destruction can accidentally create beauty through unpredictable natural patterns and physical reactions. Every fracture becomes unique, almost like a fingerprint shaped by pressure, temperature, and timing. The work also extends beyond photography into object design. Szwed used the fractured structures and spatial qualities revealed during the explosions as inspiration for creating delicate porcelain objects. By translating the temporary cracks into permanent ceramic forms, the project turns fleeting moments of destruction into carefully preserved pieces of art and design. Viewed this way, the egg becomes more than an ordinary object. It transforms into a study of fragility, tension, and transformation. The shells appear simultaneously scientific and organic, balancing precision with unpredictability in a way that feels both controlled and accidental. What makes Eggsplosion especially memorable is how it changes the viewer's relationship with something completely familiar. An ordinary egg suddenly becomes architectural, sculptural, and almost alien when examined closely enough. The series demonstrates how even the simplest materials can reveal extraordinary complexity when observed through experimentation, timing, and artistic curiosity. This is one reason gas stoves have become a growing public health concern. Studies show that natural gas stoves can release small amounts of methane even when turned off through tiny leaks in valves and fittings. While methane is a powerful greenhouse gas, researchers are especially concerned about nitrogen dioxide produced when the stove is actively being used for cooking. Nitrogen dioxide can build up indoors and affect air quality, especially in homes with poor ventilation. Some studies found that a single gas stove can temporarily raise pollution levels beyond recommended outdoor air quality limits. Because people spend so much time inside their homes, long-term exposure becomes more important than many realize. Researchers also found links between gas stove exposure and increased asthma risk in children. This has led experts to recommend better kitchen ventilation, opening windows while cooking, and using effective range hoods to help reduce indoor air pollution exposure. This is one of the reasons snow leopard are so perfectly adapted to life in harsh mountain environments. Their massive fluffy tails can grow almost as long as their bodies, helping them balance while climbing steep cliffs and narrow rocky ledges high above the ground. But the tail also serves another important purpose: warmth. When snow leopards sleep in freezing temperatures, they often wrap their thick tails around their faces like built-in blankets to protect themselves from the cold mountain air. Everything about their bodies is designed for survival in extreme terrain. Snow leopards have powerful legs, wide fur-covered paws that act almost like natural snowshoes, and flexible bodies built for climbing and jumping across dangerous rocky landscapes. They can leap enormous distances between cliffs with incredible precision, often landing safely on steep surfaces that would be nearly impossible for most animals to navigate. Their thick fur protects them from brutal winter temperatures found across the mountain ranges of Central and South Asia. Even their pale grey spotted coats help camouflage them perfectly against snowy rocks and cliffs, making them extremely difficult to spot in the wild. Because of this natural camouflage and the remote places they live, snow leopards are often called ghosts of the mountains. Despite their strength and athletic abilities, snow leopards are naturally elusive and rarely seen by humans. Many spend their entire lives hidden among high-altitude cliffs and valleys far from civilization. Their survival depends on silence, balance, patience, and extraordinary adaptation to one of the harshest environments on Earth. What fascinates many people most is how elegantly these animals combine beauty with survival. Features that appear soft or beautiful, like their oversized tails and thick fur, are actually highly specialized tools evolved over thousands of years to help them endure freezing temperatures, dangerous cliffs, and life in isolated mountain wilderness. This is Mai Dang Lao, McDonald's, a conceptual artwork created by Zhang Hongtu, in which modern McDonald's packaging is recreated to resemble ancient Chinese bronze artifacts. At first glance, the objects appear like historical relics displayed in a museum, complete with aged textures, ceremonial shapes, and the visual language associated with ancient dynastic treasures. Only after looking more closely do viewers recognize familiar fast food containers transformed into something that resembles archaeological history. The project plays with the contrast between consumer culture and cultural heritage. Bronze vessels in ancient China were traditionally associated with ritual importance, social status, and historical permanence. By reshaping disposable fast food packaging into objects that resemble priceless artifacts, Zhang creates a strange collision between temporary modern consumption and the timeless appearance of ancient civilization. The title itself, Mai Dang Lao, is the Chinese transliteration of McDonald's, further blending global corporate identity with local cultural references. The work comments on globalization and the way international brands become absorbed into cultures around the world, while still carrying the influence of mass consumerism and Western commercial imagery. Part of what makes the artwork so striking is the visual confusion it creates. The objects simultaneously feel ancient and modern, sacred and commercial, valuable and disposable. Something originally designed to be thrown away after a meal suddenly appears worthy of preservation behind museum glass. Zhang Hongtu's work often explores identity, politics, globalization, and cultural transformation through humor and visual contradiction. In this piece, he uses familiar symbols from fast food culture to question how societies define value, history, authenticity, and cultural memory.
This is a striking series of works by Chinese artist Xu Jinsong that transforms familiar objects from childhood into cold metallic sculptures that feel both fascinating and disturbing. Using polished stainless steel, the artist recreates strollers, cribs, toys, and baby clothing, with razor-sharp details that completely change their original meaning. What normally represents comfort and innocence suddenly appears dangerous, futuristic, and defensive. The sculptures often resemble luxury design objects at first glance. Their reflective surfaces and precise craftsmanship make them appear elegant and expensive, almost like futuristic products displayed in a high-end showroom. However, a closer look reveals spikes, blades, and aggressive shapes hidden within the designs, creating an unsettling contrast between beauty and threat. By blending innocence with menace, the works explore the anxiety of raising children in an increasingly unstable world. Instead of imagining childhood as peaceful and protected, the artist presents a surreal vision where babies seem equipped with armor built for survival. Everyday parenting objects become defensive tools, reflecting fears surrounding violence, insecurity, and uncertainty in modern society. The series also questions how far protection can go before it becomes frightening itself. Parents naturally want to shield their children from danger, yet these sculptures exaggerate that instinct to an extreme level. In doing so, the works suggest a world where fear has become so powerful that even childhood must now be surrounded by steel and weapons disguised as care. A major inspiration behind the collection comes from Neza, the rebellious child warrior from Chinese mythology. Xu Jinsong reimagines Neza as a futuristic symbol of protection and resistance, almost like an unusual mother care icon designed for a violent future. The playful mythological reference adds another layer to the works, combining ancient storytelling with modern industrial aesthetics. The final result is both visually impressive and emotionally uncomfortable. The reflective steel surfaces force viewers to see themselves inside these strange creations, making the sculptures feel personal as well as symbolic. Through these hybrid objects, the artist reveals how closely love, fear, protection, and danger can exist beside one another in the modern world. This is one of the reasons cats seem to leave fur absolutely everywhere. The average cat can shed around 1,000 hairs every single day, which may not sound dramatic at first until the numbers are added together over time. In just 1 year, that daily shedding can reach roughly 365,000 hairs, scattered across furniture, clothing, carpets, and floors. Over the course of a typical 15-year lifespan, a single cat may lose more than 5 million hairs in total. Cats naturally shed as part of their hair growth cycle. Old or damaged hairs fall out, so new healthy fur can grow in their place. This process happens continuously, even in indoor cats that appear fluffy and clean all year long. While people often notice the fur left behind on blankets or clothing, shedding is actually a completely normal and healthy biological process for most cats. The amount of fur a cat loses can vary greatly depending on breed, season, age, diet, and environment. Long-haired breeds such as Maine Coon or Persian cat usually release far more visible fur than short-haired breeds because their coats are denser and longer. Cats living in warmer indoor environments may also shed more evenly throughout the year instead of having strong seasonal shedding periods like outdoor cats. What makes feline shedding especially impressive is the incredible density of their fur. Cats can have tens of thousands of hairs packed into a very small area of skin. Some breeds even grow multiple layers of fur designed for insulation and protection. Because their coats are so thick, losing 1,000 hairs daily often does not create noticeable bald spots or thinning. Their bodies are constantly replacing old hairs with new growth almost invisibly. Grooming also plays a major role in this process. Cats spend a large portion of their day licking and cleaning themselves, removing loose hairs before they naturally fall away. This is why cats frequently swallow fur while grooming, sometimes leading to hairballs. Regular brushing by owners can help reduce loose fur around the house, while also preventing mats and tangles from forming in thicker coats. Even though the numbers sound enormous, shedding is simply part of living with a cat. Those millions of tiny hairs are evidence of a healthy coat constantly renewing itself over time. For many cat owners, finding fur on clothes, couches, or beds eventually becomes less of an annoyance and more of a familiar reminder that a beloved furry companion is always nearby.